industry.
What's happening, gang? You are back live in the Secret Stash, hanging out with your host, Jesse Ibanez, co-founder of the Greenhouse Group. You can check us out and what we do over at thegreenhousegroupinc.com. By the way, Marilyn, if you go to thegreenhousegroupinc.com, which you probably haven't gone to yet, but something tells me after today you're going to.
Okay.
You're going to be like, I'm going to check this knucklehead out and see what he does.
Right.
We actually have a little feature on there called Silent Market. So these are like properties that aren't on the market yet, that are coming to market. Mm-hmm. And people love that stuff right now because there's so much competition that like you want to know about the properties before they're actually coming out live right now. So we've got that for folks. You can go down to our website, thegreenhousegroupinc.com, and ask to get signed up for our Silent Market list. Properties that aren't on the market yet that are coming up hot. I love that thought, Marilyn. Speaking of coming in hot, you've been dropping some knowledge on us today. Estate planning, 101, 201, 401. We're going to have a doctorate by the time you leave here.
Okay.
And I feel like we've covered most of the stuff right now. Check my thinking on this. So for me, when someone's in that spot, they usually are met with a lot of resistance, right? Maybe they've never spoken to an attorney before. They don't know how it's going to go, or they're afraid about the whole... I wonder if there's a way that you can sort of walk us through what that would look like for you. So let's say like I refer a client to you, they call you up, like, so what's the process look like for Marilyn?
Okay, the first thing is they make an appointment, and it's usually within a week or 10 days, and, unless I'm out of the country or something, which happens from time to time.
Because you're a globetrotter.
Well, I am a globetrotter, and you know what? And that's why I'm going to continue to work forever, because I want to be a globetrotter.
That's great. Okay. I love it.
So if I didn't work, I couldn't be one.
That's right.
Yeah. So they come in, and we offer them some coffee or tea or whatever, or water, and we have a book of it's probably 3 inches thick of letters of recommendation from other clients that have worked with us, and we have them look at that for a couple of minutes, and then I come in.
After 30 plus years, I bet there's a lot of happy clients.
Oh, yeah. I get hugs on average of once a week.
Okay.
And frankly, most attorneys don't get hugs. Okay. So,
I already hugged you in the beginning of the show.
I know, but you're not a client. And okay. And how about a client that, you wrote me a significant check and I did a lot of work for you and you're happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or even your parent died and I helped you through that. I didn't necessarily go to the funeral, but I helped you with the legal aspects of what was going on.
Just as important.
Right.
Good. So they come in,
okay.
they get spoiled.
And they sit down with me, and we do an in-depth questionnaire.
Yeah.
And we talk about all kinds of issues. And then we figure out what they need, okay? And they may need what's called a trust package, okay? This could be with a regular trust or it could be with a special trust that has a special power of attorney. But in any event, along with their trust, they get some other documents. They have a schedule that's attached to their trust, which lists their house or houses and their other bank accounts and such.
And we learned earlier how important that is.
Right. And in case some, company loses your beneficiary designation or whatever, it's covered there as a backup that we can go to court and get it fixed. And so along with that, we have what's called an abstract. An abstract is a 3 to 5 page summary of the trust. So you don't have to send all 35 pages to your bank or to your financial institution. You can send them the summary, which is called the abstract of trust. Then we have a will that's included, but it's a special kind of will. It's called a pour-over will, P-O-U-R, like you pour milk. And if something gets left out, we can use the pour-over will to go to court. But we try to avoid at all costs leaving something out. But let's say you acquire something afterwards. You have an inheritance, you never got around to putting it in your trust, or you buy a CD over at XYZ Bank for, because they have a good rate, and you forget to put it in your trust.
Things change.
So we use the pour-over will if necessary. But I encourage the clients, if you get a new asset, you use your abstract and put it in your trust.
Yeah, well said.
And then we have powers of attorney for financial. We either have the regular one, which includes a statutory form, which is a really, really short one, or we have the extended one that allows us to do Medi-Cal planning. And that also includes a short form statutory power of attorney. And then the very important community property agreement for married people, nomination of guardian if you have young children, and then perhaps the most important document at all, which is your healthcare document. Now, I review a lot of existing trusts, and I see a lot of outdated healthcare documents. In fact, if they were done before 92, they will have expired because at that point in time, they were only good for 7 years, both the health and financial. But there's been a lot of changes in the healthcare documents, And the most important thing is that the clients need is what's called a HIPAA addendum.
Yeah.
This way, if they have dementia, the doctor won't be afraid to say, yes, they have dementia, because the doctors are very concerned about litigation. And so this HIPAA addendum gets around that problem. So we want to make sure that your loved ones can get your medical records, or you can get the medical records of your loved ones if necessary. So this HIPAA addendum in your healthcare directive is extraordinarily important. And in that document, in the new ones at least, we talk about a lot of things. We talk about how you feel about organ donation and for what purpose, whether you want a priest, minister, rabbi, or imam called, or the Buddhist priest. If you have a particular religion or a Mormon bishop, whatever your religion is.
Or all the above at the same time.
Well, whatever you want. We can include that if you like. Of course, the most important decisions are that you want to be pain-free, if you want enough pain medicine to keep you comfortable. And then the all-important one, do you want to be kept alive, hooked up to machinery, or would you rather avoid that? Now, if you don't sign this, they will keep you alive for a long, long time. Yeah. Remember the Karen Quinlan case? No one could decide. I mean, if you're clearly brain dead and there's no brain activity, there's not an issue. But if you're lingering and you've been in a coma for 3 years, there's a definite issue here. Mm. Most people don't want to be kept alive, hooked up to machinery, period. 99.9% of my clients don't want machinery keeping them going. If they have no longer the ability to recognize their loved ones and live life, they don't want to live it hooked up to machinery, whether it's breathing tubes or feeding tubes or whatever. And now if it's a really short period of time and they have like pneumonia, of course they want to be on antibiotics in a breathing tube for a week because they know they're going to get well. But if there's no chance of ever getting well, they're in a coma and they're not expected to ever regain consciousness, and we've waited maybe 3 months, then they want to be off the tubes, off the machinery.
Yeah. Those are really important documents.
Okay, so we have all these documents. And then I've explained all these different documents to the clients, and then I say, okay, do you want to sign a retainer agreement? And so then we sign a retainer agreement, and they write me a check, which goes into the attorney's trust account, and I draw it down as I do the work. The trust is cash. The money goes into the attorney retirement account. Then we send out the documents. They're called draft documents to the clients in a big red, white, and blue envelope. The clients read them, and they review them. They mark them up if they want. They call for an appointment to discuss them. At the conclusion of that, we schedule a final appointment to sign the documents, have the deeds notarized to their house, one or more properties they might have. We give them funding letters for their various banks. If they're maybe in their 90s and they're not able to handle some things, we can do that for additional fees for them. My oldest client is 102. Of course, my youngest is 20 and expecting her first baby. So we have the total range of clients. We have people that have little net worth and people that have net worths of 25 million.
And a wonderful process to invite them in. So if this might be something you're catching for the first time, or who knows, maybe this is even a matured conversation that you've been developing and this was finally the inspiration that you needed, I'm going to invite you to go talk to a local expert who's been doing this for 30 plus, who actually teaches other attorneys on how to do this stuff well. Marilyn, I can't thank you enough for coming into our show today and sharing so much of your infinite wisdom on this topic. Marilyn Shea, gang. Thank you. Marilyn, by the way, if you can, best way for people to get in touch with you, is it the website?
The best way to get in touch with me is to call me at 760-721-0600.
That's it, gang. 760-721-0600. Thank you again so much, Marilyn. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Looking forward to you helping tons of people in your not-too-distant future from 20 to 102. I don't know how many people can say that. That's awesome.
Okay, thank you.
You betcha. Now, gang, coming up, we're going to take a quick little break at the top of the hour here, and then on the other side of it, we're going to get October Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the mix. And we got some really special guests coming in the studio right after this. Real Talk Radio, we'll be right back.